perception of Nifty. So there's a couple of perceptions of Nifty, negative perceptions. The first thing that investors should remember is that in Australia, we're not very good at heap leach. And so there's always this negative perception of heap leach in Australia by Australian investors, because lots of them have been burnt by heap leach that hasn't worked very well. Every other country in the world seems to do it pretty well. You know, Asia, South America, North America, all that.
All the biggest projects.
Yeah, all the biggest projects are heap leach, and it works really well, and there's technology and all sorts around it. And yeah, but like even ourselves, we've gone to South America for some expertise to do with the met balance and that of the heap leach and the SXEW, because you can't get it in Australia. So we've actually had South American consulting firms doing some of that work for us, because they do it very well. And they do like chlorine, bloody leach, and all sorts of different things, you know. Over in Australia, you say, oh, heap leach, and they, ooh, you know, everyone loses the plot. And I'm not surprised, because we're not very good at it. And part of the reason we're not very good at it is that, and I keep saying this, and a lot of the world won't listen, because there's so much history around negative heap leach, people won't listen. The problem with heap leach in Australia is what is done in the lab is not transferred into the field. And that's Nifty. So when you look at the history of Nifty under Western Mining, the first thing that they did, so they did the met test work, which worked, over 90% recovery, crushed it to a particular size and did the test or whatever. So then what they did was they truck dumped it, and then they rode on top of the heap leach. So that was their first 2 pads, I think. So they compressed it, the particle size was too big, and it didn't do what it's supposed to. So then by, I think it was pad 3, they started to get it right. They had a lot of fines. They solved the fines problems with agglomeration, so they fixed that technical issue. And then my understanding of the history was they then had Olympic Dam, which is tier 1. Nifty was less than important, so then they sold it to Straits. So Straits had some success at Gorilla Bone, or Jura Lambone, and then they came over to do the heap leach, and they had some moderate success with it. But again, a number of issues in the heap to do with a whole lot of things and a whole lot of history. And that really is the key to what we're trying to achieve at Nifty on the heap leach. And then they on-sold it to Aditya Birla. So Aditya Birla's focus was the sulphide ore body underneath. So the Nifty ore body's got this oxide on top, got sulphide underneath. Aditya Birla were focused on the sulphide and sending that to their smelters in India. So they built a big concentrator. They weren't really interested in the heap leach, so that's the sideline, and it didn't perform very well for quite a number of years because they just weren't focused on it. It was all about the chalco. So they go underground on the chalcopyrite in the big mining areas, and they feed it into the concentrator. They start to sell the concentrate to, or not sell it, but to deliver it into the Indian smelters, and they shut the oxide. So then Aditya Birla run the underground. They basically do what they plan to do, which is take the ore body out. They have some ground support problems. Metals X buy it off them, came in and weren't so successful and put on care and maintenance. So when you have a look at the phases of Nifty and where the negativity's around, so the initial negativity around the heap leach is based on poor operating parameters on the heap leach, and then the tail of it where Aditya Birla weren't interested in it. Then Nifty as a project today is all based around the underperformance of an underground sulphide mine and the inability to recover that up to the production profiles. But Western Mining made good money on it. Straits made really good money on it, and Aditya Birla made good money on it. Really the only ones that didn't make money on it was Metals X, but that's what everyone remembers. So here we are, we're sitting in that environment. We've got a heap leach that could perform better, and then people who don't understand the 2 parts of the operation think, oh well, Nifty was put on care and maintenance, when in fact we're not going underground. The phase 1 is all about oxides. It's got nothing to do with sulphides, it's got nothing to do with the concentrator. That's for later. It's all about the oxide. So where we've focused is we've focused on that history we've got. So remember, it's produced 200,000 tonne of copper metal in cathode from that mine, and you've got all the production history, you've got all the reports, And we know a little bit about heap leach, and we've made lots of mistakes with heap leach, and you know, by that we've learned. And we've gone through and we've broken that heap leach down component by component, and then gone to the lab, fixed all those components up in the lab, and come up with the results that we've gone with. And quite frankly, we have basically eliminated some historical beliefs at Nifty about why the heap leach performed like it did. And I think that really is, for the technical people, the hardest bit for people to understand, because people won't accept that a lot of times mining operations are run poorly. And I've spent a career going into mining operations that were running poorly and turning them around. And when you go into the lab and have a look with a heap leach what's been done in the lab, and then go and have a look at what's been done on site, you can see quite clearly the differences. And then if you can fix those differences, then the thing will perform. And that's Nifty. You really, really have to have some really rigid discipline about the heap leach to make the heap leach perform. Once the copper's in solution goes through the SXEW, that's not a problem. It's like a manufacturing plant. It still has its difficulties. And the key is to get metallurgists, operators and engineering people who are familiar with all of that. And that's really what we've done. We've tried to put a team together that can do all that. We've got parts of the team who've worked with us before on heap leach, SXEW. We've brought in metallurgy strength on heap leach, SX and EW, technical, practical strength, engineering strength where we might lack. And that's really the basis of what we've done. And again, the market or the investors out there who are negative on Nifty, you won't change their mind until you drop copper cathode in the deck and you show your results, because they're like this, they're tunnel vision blinkered about it. It's not that hard when you go into an operation that's achieved a particular recovery and made good money to then have a look at what was done and then improve it, because that's all you're dealing with. You're not dealing with this bit, the baseline. It's not like you're starting from zero on a greenfield site. You've got a baseline where 17 million tonnes achieve this baseline. You're just trying to improve the increment. That's all you're doing. And the market can't come to grips with that. And really, as I said, it's all about, it really is a transfer of the knowledge of what you see in the lab to the field. Chemistry doesn't lie. This is the key. Chemistry doesn't lie. Chemistry is chemistry. When a reaction takes place, it takes place. If it's not taking place, there's something different. Conditions, whatever they are. And that's really what we're focused on. And that's why we're so keen on heap leach, which I've discussed before. You know, you cut out a smelter, you cut out transport. Hydrometallurgy is the way to go. The impact, environmental impact's much, much less. There's all these positive benefits, more revenue your side, you can get your recoveries up, you can do all sorts of stuff, and that's why we focus on it. And that's why we went to Nifty. We went to Nifty on the heap leach. We didn't go on the rest, we just ended up with a whole lot. So, and watch this space. So all I can say to an investor out there is, if you're reading something or someone is saying to you, Nifty won't work, then you can sit in the grandstand all you like. And you can watch and you can throw hand grenades, you can be negative. Slowly but surely we'll achieve our objectives. And when we achieve our objectives and when we achieve what we said we're going to do, what are you going to do then? You look like a buffoon. So either I'm going to look like a buffoon or you're going to look like a buffoon. And the industry, part of what the industry does at the moment, I think, is it's that old story, is you're in a race for capital dollars. And the mentality in the industry a little bit is, instead of running to the finish line and being first, they turn around with a hammer and they take your knee out. You see the mentality, and you've seen that yourself just starting to list a company. There's people on the sidelines for their own benefit talking you down.